It's strange, isn't it? Why do people watch darts? I think that part of this, just the little bit that I know from a personal perspective, a lot of watching a sport is about how the sport is presented. Yeah, it's about the atmosphere that is created around the sport. So if you've got exciting moments and presenters who love the sport and love what they're doing, and you've got atmosphere of people shouting and cheering, then it makes it more interesting to watch, really.
Mhm.
Well, what's interesting looking at these pictures is that you expect, to a certain extent, most modern sports people, and darts. When sport becomes professional, you expect people to be athletes when they perform in the sport, which means you kind of expect the darts players to have lots of muscle and
Yeah.
and be finely toned in their body, so they've got perfect control over their body in
Yes.
their mind. But it's not like that, is it? It's not. I mean, the a lot of these players they're big. They're
Yes.
they're they're they're
But can you
obviously
imagine? Can you imagine they
overweight.
are practicing between 6 and 8, between 6 and 8 hours per day?
Eh, I mean, I couldn't do it. Let's be honest, right? I couldn't, because you you you've got yourself, and you've got the game, and you've got the darts, and you've got the lights, and you've got the room, and you've got the atmosphere, and you've got the people, and you've got the cameras, and and everyone is watching you. Everyone is looking at you, and you know that everyone is looking at you, and you've got one thing to do, and you have to do it. And if you get it right, you're a, you're a hero, and you win, and everyone remembers your name. But if you get it wrong, then you don't go anywhere. And it's a very human element to things. It's an incredible amount of pressure, and there's probably, over the last 12 to 18 months, there's a lot of people and a lot of businesses and places in the world that have been put under a lot of
Mhm.
pressure. And there's probably something that we can all learn from people who have the ability to use those situations to their advantage. Yeah, because there are people who have that ability to take the problem and turn it into an opportunity, which is not what most people can do. But yeah, how do you have that much self-control? Because it's so easy for the hand to shake. It's so easy to lose control and composure, which is why we have to respect sports at a higher level, because the real aim of sport, apart from having fun, is to achieve excellence in something, to be
Yes.
excellent, to excel. And you've got to admire people who are able to. I mean, just looking at the pictures I'm looking at a picture of the World Cup of Darts 2021. I'm looking at a picture of the
Yes.
Scottish team, and there's the Scottish, world champion who's got the Mohican, right? And he looks a little bit unfit. He's big and strong, but he looks unfit, right? And his partner, his playing partner, looks extremely unfit. He's just got like a head on shoulders and white skin and a huge belly, like he's obviously way overweight. And the fact that these people have the composure to complete a very difficult task is amazing. You know, there's a line in the Bible that says, "Do not be fooled by the physical form of a person." Do not be fooled. I can't remember the exact words, but it basically translates as, "Do not be fooled by the physical form of a person." It also translates as, exercise is overrated. I think meaning that if you only work on the body and not the mind, that you're not going to get very far. But the fact that you can turn almost anything into a competitive sport, which is good, and it doesn't have to be difficult. A few months ago, I was with my kids in the evening, and they said they wanted to play a game. And I sort of looked around. I said, "Okay, you want to do this?" I said, "No." I said, "Do you want to do this?" "No." I said, "Do you want to do this?" I said, "No." I said, "Do you want to do this?" They said, "No." Oh, God. You know, I'm like, you want to play a game, but you don't want to do this. 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 And, the typical parent problem. It's like, it's like you give the world to your kids, and the kids are like, yeah, whatever. That's just, they're coming at things from a very different perspective. And so I said, okay, let me think. So I started. So solutions to problems. You begin with a solution to a problem by realizing that if you can't find the answer, you might be overthinking. You ever had a problem and you couldn't solve it, and you went to somebody else and they went, "Do that," and they solved it, right? We tend to overthink things that are very close to us and very personal to us and very important to us. So my first thought to myself was, I'm overthinking this. Simplify it. Simplify the problem. So I thought, what's the simplest game that I can play with my kids? So I went to the kitchen and I got a little container. And I went and I got some paper. And I put the container at one end of the room. And I sat with the piece of paper. And I took the piece of paper and I crumpled it up into a ball. And I threw it and tried to get it into the container. And my kids were so excited. They were you've never seen children so excited. But jumping up and down, right? They were like, "I want to do it, I want to do it, I want to do it, let me do it, I want to do it, I want to do it." Right? And all I did was get this little container and get some pieces of paper. And then we had a little competition, crumpling up. And, it's tactile, and sometimes it's fun for children when they get to destroy something. Like, how you give kids a piece of paper and it's like it's for a specific task. You're not supposed to tear it or break it or destroy it, right? So when you give children a piece of paper and you go, "Okay, do this," they're like, "Ah, I get to destroy something. Yay." And it's like, you waste the paper. It's like, do you really waste the paper? If you're using it to make people happy, is it wasted? John Lennon, the singer of the Beatles, was asked by his teacher at school, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" He was asked by his teacher, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And he said, "I want to be happy." Simple, right? I want to be happy. Simple. Don't overthink things, because we do, the solutions are often simpler than we think. So so me and my children, we sat on the floor at one side of the room. We had these pieces of paper and we threw them and we tried to get them into this container. And you know what? The next day, my children were like, "Can we play it again? Can we play it again? We want to do it again. Can we play it again?" I mean, I've got toys and equipment around here that's worth thousands of pounds. Okay. I've got stuff for my children that's worth thousands of pounds. And the thing that made them happiest was throwing a piece of paper at a target. That was what made them happiest. So we overcomplicate things. So maybe it's the simplicity of darts that makes it so beautiful or entertaining. It's just a board. It's just a dart. And we actually, the truth is we all know we couldn't do it, right? It looks so easy, right? The pressure finishing on a double, right? Yeah, and then it's like double top, no, double 10, no, double 5.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's maybe it's one of those activities it might be good for kids, for example. But you know why parents don't like their children playing darts? Because you end up with little holes.
Yeah.
in everything. Because I remember when I was a kid, we had a dartboard, and do you know, like, if you have the dartboard was on a special sort of wooden wall, and
Yeah.
it was next to a door, and sometimes the darts would hit the door instead of the board. And do you know, if you have wood, sometimes there's little worms that live in the wood and eat the wood. Well, the hole that the dart makes looks exactly the same as those little holes that those little worms make. And I remember we had visitors once, and the visitors said, "Oh, you have a problem with those little worms." It's like, no, we play darts. We play darts, and it's also dangerous if you've got teenagers as kids, right? Because it's fun to throw darts at each other, right? Yeah, I did.
Yes, yeah, we did it.
Yeah, exactly. It's inevitable. You can't not do it for some reason. You can't not throw darts at each other, even though you know that it is in some way dangerous. It's oh dear. Or I don't know if you ever. Yeah, there a couple of dangerous games I used to play like that when I was a kid, but luckily nobody ever got hurt or injured. But yeah, all those things to look forward to. When your kids grow up, they're going to become teenagers, and they're going to do all those dangerous, stupid things that you did as well. All those joys to look forward to. But yeah, I did. Sometimes the simple can. We can learn things. You can learn something from everything, right? There's a lesson in absolutely everything. Or as Dad says, every day is a school day, right?
Yeah.
Every day is a school day. It's not about being in school. It's just about opportunities to learn. Every day is a school day. What can you learn from this? What can you learn from that? You learn from all these things happening. around about. Now is a great time to observe the world and teach from what is happening. Because there are so many bad things happening. There's good things happening as well, but there's so many bad things happening. These are great lessons for people. Because when everything is, to be honest, when everything is good, we sometimes don't learn very well. Yeah, we sometimes don't learn very well when we don't have any challenges. We perhaps have more challenges than we need to have right now, but it's the sine wave of life.